Osiris.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Touchdowns All Day podcast with John Barber and Max DAWSON. That's the longest podcast title we could think of. Could get longer though. I wouldn't hold out. Newsflash, folks. Locally sourced means from a local farm, not trucked in from a local food distributor. I think people are getting this one wrong. It's pretty obvious what it means, but I have seen all over the place things say locally sourced, and it's like, you know, like cupcakes. It's cupcakes, like mass-produced cupcakes that are locally sourced. They must just have like so many stickers. They just need to put them on stuff just to get rid of them all. You never know, but I don't think clarity and honesty is really something that they're going for in the food industry recently. It's great to see them remove themselves from the shackles of having to tell you what's in the food you're eating, because that was really holding people back. It was really holding back the GMO industry in a major way. And I do actually have to admit, the GMO strawberries taste better than the farmers market strawberries right now. I know this is a battle as old as time and will continue to go back and forth, but right now GMO is sweeter, bigger, tastier. It's just better right now, but we'll see how long that lasts. I'd like to say thank you to Tara Gracer, our amazing biscuit tour photographer, for the previous podcast episode. If you haven't listened to it, please go back and check out episode 64. She's the vibe enthusiast of the vibe, and she is a great close friend of everyone in the organization. She is the best. Give Tara a camera and a laser show, and she will light up the entire internet, capturing the ultimate euphoria of the experience. We are, very happy to have gotten the opportunity to interview her, and I learned a lot about Tara listening to the podcast, and I hang out with her on the bus all the time. So there was great information there. Great job, Max. Great interview. Today's podcast is going to be a little bit of a departure for us as a podcasting group. For the first time ever, we're going to make a podcast where we listen, Max and myself both listen together, to fans covering Biscuit songs. I didn't know there were this many fan covers of Biscuit songs, but there are apparently a bunch. And we listened to a bunch of them today, and they are, it's definitely worth a listen. They make their own versions of these songs, and they do an incredible job. So I think you guys are going to be pleasantly entertained by this romp of a podcast. Episode 65, the fan cover episode. Yeah, a lot of episodes there. Anyways, can we please talk about the elephant in the room to start, though? And I'd like to say that, as much as politics is very heated in this country, I would like to say that there's one political stance that I am firmly behind, and that is in countries where elephants live and have communities, I believe we are getting to a point in life where those elephants should be given a human representative on the local government, and they should be given ownership of and dominion over their lands. Let's face it, folks, elephants are pretty much people. They just don't speak a language that we understand yet. But if the AI can talk to humans as well as, these ChatGPT type of bots can talk to humans, frankly, out-talking most humans, that the AI is going to be able to talk to an elephant too, right? Like, it's not, the AI doesn't care which earthling animal is squawking at it. It just stores it all and puts it into a big table and figures out which squawk commonly follows which squawk, and then it gives you that squawk. That's all it's doing. It's just a very, very fast librarian is all ChatGPT is, right? And let's face it, folks, these elephants, they are people. There's elephants that can paint pictures. There's elephants that, they group, they dance, they raise their young. They don't speak, but they have tusks, and their tusks are bling, folks. It's bling. Even to humans, their tusks are bling. They might be the first rappers ever because they rock their bling no matter, It's God-given bling. It's time as humans that we recognize another species on Earth as being, cool enough to hang with us or whatever, however you want to put it. And in these countries where the elephants have their, watering holes in their places where they live, and they've lived probably for thousands of years, they literally should just get a vote in the government. We have to figure out how to communicate with them and put somebody in the government that can represent them. And yeah, they're not going to pay taxes, but then again, they're not going to drive on highways either, really. And they probably won't use the hospital system. So I think they take care of all that on their own. So that's where I stand. I stand with the elephants. I think the elephants should be part of the everyday governments in the places where they live. There's no question. And has anyone seen this incredible performance by Terrence Howard on the Joe Rogan podcast? Did anybody listen to this? I have to listen to it again. It was so good. This guy, and I know, I watched a bunch of angry debunkers on YouTube crabbing about how he used the wrong word for X and he used the wrong phrasing for Y, and he doesn't quite understand the scientific method, and what he's saying is patently false, and literally everything reeks of a narcissism complex. And I heard all that jealous drivel of somebody who literally understood exactly how to make the best Joe Rogan podcast appearance ever, and then delivered. He delivered, folks. And some of those ideas are great ideas. Let's be honest. The red spot in Jupiter is going to pop out and become a moon at some point. I love that. And then he's got this thing that he calls a linchpin, and he puts it on a computer screen. And then he says, I'm going to do some magicy poof, and then presses a button. And then suddenly Saturn's on the screen. And then he's like, this became that because I hit return and it happened. Now, I haven't debunked any of this stuff, but I'm not going to debunk any of this. I want to believe all this stuff. I really do. I think it's fun. I think it's crazy. His idea that planets are shot out of the sun like coronal mass ejections that turn into planets, and then they move out one after another like waves coming off of a puddle, a rock in a pond with the ripples. That's what the planets are. They're ripples of coronal mass ejections coming out of the sun, and we've been here for trillions of years as we all move slowly out to the asteroid belt, where I guess the pressure switches and then the planet explodes, and then it either becomes a Jupiter or it explodes like the asteroid belt. Oh, God, I love that. Love that. I like how he kind of stayed away from aliens. I feel like people, they lean too heavily on aliens when they go on the Rogan show. I know if I was on the Rogan show, I would just... You gotta, in the first 30 minutes, you have to talk about one of three things. You have to talk about other comedians that you know personally. You have to talk about some kind of man-on-man combat using hands or feet. Or you have to talk about aliens, right? Those are the three things you have to get to, right? Or you have to talk about, left-right politics. One of those four things. You gotta hit that. In the first 20, 30 minutes, you gotta hit one of those four things. And to me, I think aliens would be where I would go on that one. I don't know if I have too many other choices. If I wanted to speak intelligently, aliens, ironically, is maybe the only subject I can speak intelligently about. However, not Terrence Howard, folks, not Terrence Howard. He goes on there and literally says he has debunked all of math and science, all of it. He has debunked straight lines. He has debunked 1 × 1 = 1. He thinks it's equal to 2. Doesn't make any sense. But, hey, you could say that all day long. Joe goes along with it. He's riding that Terrence Howard gravy train to awesomeness for 2 or 3 solid hours of just gripping, amazing creativity, folks. And in my mind, that's what it was. That's what it was. I don't want to debunk any of that stuff because to me, it's just massive creativity. If somebody walked into my music studio and started saying stuff like Terrence Howard was saying on Joe Rogan Show, I would be hard at work, A, recording every word that came out of their mouth, and B, trying to figure out what tempo they're talking so I can put beats under it immediately. That's what I would be doing. There's no true or false in this world. It's all a big joke. All these arrogant astrophysicists who are getting on the internet being like, Terrence Howard doesn't know the first thing about... No, neither do you, dog. You know what I mean? It's just, they have... Okay, and I will explain how. They have these two things in astrophysics. Astrophysics, smartest people in the world. Einstein, smartest guy in the world, is their leader. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And he came up with these math equations, and they tell you how you can watch light bend around the moon in an eclipse or something like that, you know. Stuff that, you know, for those of us who have jobs, you know, we don't get too much luxury to sit around and think about that stuff. But those guys, you know, this is their job. Their job is to perpetuate this standard and maybe add to it a little bit. You know, and, you know, if it's Stephen Hawking, you add a lot. But if it's everybody else, you add a little bit. And they have these concepts in astrophysics that all these guys swear by these concepts. That's called dark energy and dark matter. And in the math, if you're just looking at the math, like 1 + 1 = 2, right? Or, you know, the math's a little bit harder. But, you know, math's a solved problem, folks. It's not. They solved math hundreds of years ago. It's not that big of a deal. Essentially, they have these numbers that are added to the math equations to make them work. So if I was to tell you, I'm going to give you a job where you make $1 million a year, I'm going to create that $1 million for you by giving you $1, and then the rest of it will be made up of this stuff called dark money, which doesn't exist. You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it, you definitely can't buy anything with it. But it's there, and that's why you get $1 million a year, or whatever the number was, because you get $1 plus the rest of it in dark money. You would look at me like you are bonkers. Some people would literally punch me in the face for saying that to them. It's literally, people would be angry, you know, with the concept of dark money. And yet, in astrophysics, where these guys redo solved math equations for money, while the rest of us have real jobs, and then they write books about redone solved math equations, and then they look through telescopes, which we pay for. They sit around and they come up with this concept called dark energy and dark matter. These things do not exist. They think they exist because then the math works. But if you remove the dark energy and dark matter, the math doesn't work anymore, folks. And let me tell you, the dark energy and the dark matter, that's most of the math. I mean, they think that dark energy and dark matter is like 80% of what's in the universe. Now, we can see things in the universe that are apparently billions of years old and are way, way, way far away. And they can tell you if a planet's in front of it. They can tell you if there's oxygen in the planet. And they can tell you all this stuff. But they can't tell you one iota of a thing about dark energy or dark matter, except for the fact that they absolutely exist, because then the math works. And let me tell you, folks, this is just, it's such a sham. And the arrogance of these people to come after somebody like Terrence Howard, who, yeah, you know, he's not really a scientist. He's an actor, and he probably took a bunch of mushrooms. And he probably got most of his ideas from other crackpots on the internet. However, for him to go on a show and have a show as nerve-wracking to go on as Joe Rogan show, where I think like it must be hundreds of millions of people listen to that show. It's crazy how many people listen to that show. It just goes to show you how undervalued the Touchdowns All Day podcast is when everyone's listening to the Joe Rogan show. I mean, come on. This podcast is so much better. Let's be honest. But, you know, Joe's podcast is good too, I guess. But I mean, when Terrence Howard comes on this show, we're going to have a chat. Let me tell you, it's just, this guy has all these great ideas. They're unique. They are different. Yes, some of them might be wrong. All of them might be wrong. But the bottom line is, No one really knows a lot of this stuff. And to sit there and say, hey, this guy's crazy and he needs to be silenced and what he's doing is bad for society, just because Flat Earth caught a little traction a few years ago, it's just like, who cares? Literally, who cares? There's a hexagon at the top of Saturn. Nobody knows why it's there. Nobody knows why it's a hexagon. Nobody knows. Do you know? I don't know. I saw some scientist talking about why it's a hexagon. He said it's a hexagon because it's a storm. And the storm is very deep into the center of the planet, and that's why it forms a hexagon. Now, why does that mean it forms a hexagon? What is this guy talking about? So here you have somebody who's a scientist who's totally approved by the establishment of scientists saying, well, the reason this is a hexagon is because it's a big storm. And that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't even know why it made sense to him. And then Terrence Howard's like, it's a hexagon because at the root of it all are these little kind of drone objects called linchpins, which are these three-dimensional rotating drones. Okay, that's just as not believable, frankly, from my point of view. They're both equally non-believable. I did see in Terrence Howard's corner, I did see a YouTube video of a guy who made the Terrence Howard linchpin into a drone by just, pasting drone rotors together in the same arrangement. And he said the thing flew amazing. And there's a video of him flying it around. And you can go to YouTube right now and type that in and watch the video. Maybe that video is fake. I don't know. Probably. Today's world. Gotta think it's fake. Here's the check. This is how you know if something's fake. First, is it on TikTok? Yes, then it's fake. No, not on TikTok. Okay. Is it on YouTube? Yes. Okay, it's a 50% chance fake. Okay, there you go. That's your check for if it's fake. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't post a lot of videos of myself to TikTok, because I don't want to become fake. For those of you who get a TikTok where nothing's fake, congratulations, you won the lottery. The rest of us get this TikTok where literally nothing is true. The entire time that you're scrolling, every single post you watch is just absolutely fake. There's no question about it. It's crazy. And it's all anti-government stuff. It's so crazy. It's so off the chain. I've never seen anything like it. I guarantee you, all women are like, well, my TikTok is so nice and happy. And all guys are like, yep, I get the fake TikTok. I really feel like TikTok figures out if you're a guy or a girl, and then it feeds you, what it feeds you based on that primarily. And the guys just get complete garbage all day long. Just one garbage video after another. Terrence Howard was on TikTok, so yes, there were some things that he said that are absolutely fake. There is some stuff that he said that had nothing to do with anyone's reality and was probably stolen from a YouTuber who doesn't live in a reality and also doesn't care about science or anything. So I do agree with the debunkers. It would be nice if people in general, understood a little bit more about science before they, claim the earth is flat or something like that. I mean, if your idea depends on a third of the world keeping a massive secret, or more than a third of the world keeping a massive secret, maybe your idea isn't right. I mean, I would just like to say, probably not. Probably not. So flat earth, I think it's too big of a secret to keep. I could be wrong, though. That's the thing. I could be wrong. People might live in the center of the earth. Maybe they do. It's crazy. These people who are running around telling everybody that they're wrong. And now the James Webb Telescope is literally in outer space, pointing at galaxies that are older than the Big Bang and saying, okay, what do you scientists think now? What do you guys think now? Do you have a dark matter for that? Is there are you going to come up with a separate formula for aging galaxies that are, on the normal formula are older than the galaxy is? So you got to come up with a new dark matter for that? We're all cavemen, folks. We're all cavemen. But the difference between us, cavemen of the past, is that we're mass communicating.
We're mass communicating.
off we go. Off we go, and I got this new mic, so we got some fun stuff. Yeah.
Tell me about the new mic.
Well, it was a gift from Universal Audio, and they have this new mic where it models all the classic mics. So you use this mic to model all the classic mics, and I just got it, so I got to figure out which mics are good for what. But it's great because now I can have it right here at the desk, and I can sing and get like a really great recording without having to go into the booth, you know? So it's cool for writing, great for writing.
And I'd imagine you can do different sort of singing vocal mics as well as broadcasting vocal mics.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's nice. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it sounds on the podcast.
Every day somebody sends you something new. Nobody's sending me anything.
It's been wild. It's literally been over and over and over again for the past month. I've gotten something in the mail. It's like Christmas every single week. It's been great. And I needed a lot of I needed this mic for the studio, and you can see my new Paul Reed Smith amp right there. I needed that amp. I needed that guitar. Like, it's great. It's like things are just falling into place.
You should just start saying other things that you not even necessarily need, but just want, and hope, like a new MacBook, like new rims for your Tesla, like just put it out there and see what shows up.
Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be the play for now on. The ice machine is happening too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So this is essentially, ladies and gentlemen, Touchdowns All Day has just become a John Barber Amazon wish list where he explains the things he wants you to give him. And we put some content out there just to justify the whole endeavor. But ultimately, it is a merchandise transaction.
I mean, I'll take that. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that.
Well, John,
it's also a community builder in a major way.
That is the point of this episode. I have you here for a very specific reason, and that is to highlight some of the amazing creativity that is going on in the Disco Biscuits community. Now, we know that the fans create amazing art. They do posters, they do pins, they do shirts, they do hats. But we also know that there are a number of very talented musicians in the Biscuits scene who have been inspired by you and the rest of the band and the material that you guys have created to put their own spin on the Biscuits sound.
That's right. And I am so impressed at the submissions that we've got. I'm blown away. Like, I really think that people are, changing the songs even for the better. I'm just blown away at how cool everything is.
Well, John, today I've got lined up an entire playlist of amazing Biscuits covers submitted to me by the Biscuits community. And rather than just, as we have been for the last few episodes, tacking them on at the beginning or the end, I figured you and I would sit down, and instead of listening to Hot Biscuits jams, we're going to listen to Hot Biscuits covers from the community.
I love it. That's a great idea. And I probably haven't heard all these, I bet. So this is
I hope you haven't. I know for a fact that a number of these you haven't heard. Some of them you may have, but either way, these are going to be new to a lot of people in the community. You're going to hear a lot of what your friends and fellow Biscuits fans are up to. You might be inspired yourself. And if you are, please hit us up at Barber Shreds on Twitter and X, at FY Maxwell, X and Instagram. You could also get us at TDAD Baby on X and Touchdowns All Day on Instagram. So, John.
Sorry, I had to pop over there. The downside of having a studio is my water heaters have been exploding because it's just God. I have like a house and it's got a normal amount of water heaters, but when I have 10 people here, and everybody's taking showers and stuff, the water heater just explodes. And the dehumidifier was on because this room is soaked in water right now. So we got a new hot water heater coming next week, hopefully.
Well, also hopefully a good sign that the band is playing so hard in your basement that people are periodically needing to go and take a shower to just remove the perspiration.
Yeah. I thank God they do, Thank God for that. Everyone, switching the water heaters every couple of months because they explode is a small price to pay for the overall good vibes and good smells in the studio.
Yes. I mean, Magner sweats. Let's just put it right out there. But John, let's get back to the topic at hand. If you're going to play Biscuits covers, there's one guy you have to start with. He's the biggest name in this field. He goes by Dr. Shreds. You and I may know him as Adam Fonseca, and he has an entire YouTube channel dedicated to him shredding along with classic Biscuits jams. And I am going to share Adam Fonseca, Dr. Shreds rendition of the jam from Nughuffer on June 13th, 2008.
Beef. 420 shows. Congrats, I guess. I don't know. I love you, man. All right, here's your Nughuffer.
So John, when we had Nick on recently and we talked about all of the different pedals and amps and now digital processors that you use to create your sound, there were a lot of people out there like Dr. Shreds who are really excited about this because they have spent a lot of time on their own studying your playing and trying to do their best to create not only just the overall Barber sound, but here he is, the June 2008 Barber sound, like dialing into a specific month. Is it weird hearing someone? This must be like seeing someone playing you in a movie. This is him trying to do you with your band. It must feel a little weird.
He's doing what I do. I mean, you put on the Biscuits and you jam along. I mean, I do this all the time, and it's great for your guitar skills because it's moving. The jam is moving. The fills are happening. The builds are happening, and you have to go along with everything and make it feel good on the fingers. So I think it's awesome. I mean, is he trying to dial in like a specific sound?
I mean, I think so. It seems pretty convincing.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a pretty decent tone here. It seems like he does no delay, though. I would be surprised if I was playing with no delays. I've got maybe a little on there. Pretty hot. I like that.
He's doing a Barber.
Totally.
Barber, were you aware that the MC MF Doom at a certain point started sending out imposters to do his shows for him? Because he wore that metal mask, no one really knew if it was him or just some other guy who was on stage. I'm thinking the next time you're just feeling like not up for a tour, like River's got a Little League game or something like that, you send Dr. Shreds, you put him in a bathrobe, you give him the glasses, maybe he just turns his back to the stage for a while, and you get an extra night off.
I mean, that's the dream that all musicians have at some point in their career. I mean, everybody's had that thought. But there's so many things about leading the band that I don't know if these guys would necessarily know that is happening in the midst of these solos. And like when you're playing along with the jam's going to where it's going. But when you're live, you have to make the jam go there. So it's a little bit of a slightly different scenario. And I wonder how that would plan out. I wonder what would happen if we put somebody else in my shoes for a jam and see if the band could do what the band does with somebody who has like different cues and different ideas of how to move the jam along. Rocking now. Woo!
And did I add, this man is a physician.
It's crazy. He's killing it though. Wow.
Beef. What are we going to do with you, man?
That was nice.
Get a job. I'm playing PUBG all day.
And he even throws in a little dedication to our friend Beef in the midst of it all.
And I'm sorry I never called.
Well,
amazing. That was a great lick at the end there. He really shredded the hell out of that. I'm impressed.
Apart from more reverb, or more delay, excuse me, any other pointers you want to share with Dr. Shreds before we move on?
I mean, I think he could space some of those nice simple note melodies into the peak moments. When he's in full shred, he can grab one of those melodies and drop it in a way that, you know, is kind of what I was saying before, is like very easy for the band to jump onto and continue the jam. You do have to take breaks from the shred. You can't Yngwie Malmsteen the entire jam because you will lose the band, and you know it's just is what it is. So yeah, that's the only thing I would say. But I mean, he sounds like he's got some skills. He sounds like he runs his scales and can play for sure.
Definitely, and he's got a great YouTube channel. Everyone should check it out. He is at Dr. Shreds on YouTube. Look him up. He's got tons of covers of classic Biscuits jams from across the years. And he's a great guy. See him at shows all the time. Great vibe. Adam, thank you for sharing that with us. Now, John, I'm going to move on here to something that's totally different from Adam playing along to one of your jams to this performance by Brian McQuaid, who goes by the name The Busy Corner. Brian posted this. I think I may have seen it on X, and I was totally taken with it. I asked him to send it to me. He submitted. He is a one-man producer and artist who pretty much does it all himself. So it turns out Svenghali is a pretty popular song for Biscuits fans to cover. We had a couple of submissions of Svenghali.
Interesting. An easier song, I think. It's easy to, if you're just looking to have some fun, Svenghali is a good song for that. He seems to have skipped the other part of the melody. It might be hard to program that other part because it's the Alan solos and stuff. It might be hard to program that.
Ryan also does a lot of Grateful Dead covers, and I definitely hear a little bit of a kind of Jerry classic Americana vibe to his guitar soloing.
Yeah, he's using the Jerry scale for sure. I gotta try this scale out in this song. I don't play this scale, but I like it. I like the sound.
Fun.
Nice. Ooh.
A pretty interesting, diverse collection of styles, all within the context of a single Svenghali.
Yeah, this guy can play. I like it.
Well, if you're ever looking to drop a Svenghali and a Baba G set, maybe we could hook you up with the Busy Corner, get the stems on that, and you could do a remix on stage.
Love it. Love it. That sounds like pretty good stuff he's got there. I like it.
Well, I'm going to keep switching things up and go from genre to genre, from individuals to bands. This is an impromptu group that's calling themselves Clean Getaway.
Ooh.
They are Nick Nora, Matt Zorzi, and Luke Boardman. And this is another one that I found online and said, I need this for Barber. We're going to play this and we are going to geek out on how they have taken one of your and Joey's and Magner's and the band's new compositions and taken it into an entirely different direction.
Well, I ride along just to feel the view. So much beating when we get away. Run up an idea when I'm in it with you. Just be faster on the draw that day. Streets could be littered with their bullets, and that would be okay as long as you are here with me. The heat comes our way, and the fire will exchange. The fire will exchange. Start stealing time because you need it. Start running when they're knocking at your door. Burn something now to create it. If you've acted like you've been here before, and if you've acted like you've been here before, clean getaway, clean getaway. If you've acted like you've been here before. There must be something wrong. What we got into. You try leaving me in South LA. Thinking we can make it work, but do what you gotta do. Mistakes are what we can't repair. The streets could be littered with their bullets, and that would be okay as long as you are here with me. The heat comes our way, the fire will exchange. The fire will exchange.
It's been a minute since you've done a solo acoustic show. I think that this could be a part of the next set list.
This is definitely getting played if I do a solo acoustic show. This is a great version. This guy's really putting some new chutzpah into it. I like it.
It's got
And
that
he-
kind of late 90s grunge band on MTV Unplugged vibe.
Yeah. An acoustic show would be fun with the new songs. I mean, Doorbell would be fun acoustic. You know, there's some other new songs coming in that it would be great acoustic. So it's maybe I should book something like that soon. This sounds great.
You've been here before. Clean getaway.
I just love that it's three guys getting together in their spare time to jam out to their favorite New Biscuits song.
Love it. Yeah, that was cool. Guy sang it great. That was a fun version.
Well, keep your eye out for Clean Getaway. When we book the festival of all Biscuits cover acts, Clean Getaway will definitely be a top attraction.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
The side stage at Bisco Land. It's actually in the campground. It's in front of somebody's tent. You just get a
mean, you gotta
folding
think
chair.
You'd have to think these guys are going to Disco Land, right? And so they'll probably be having the campfire with their acoustic guitars jamming this one.
It seems like it was made for it. And that's the thing. I love hearing that acoustic rendition. We also started out this series with an acoustic rendition of Fire Will Exchange, Lily Enchin playing it on ukulele. And sometimes you hear these songs rearranged and you're like, oh, of course. It seems so obvious now. But when you hear it in a Biscuits context and it's, an up-tempo techno jam into a brand new song and it like flows within the context of a set, you might not realize, oh, this could be a beautiful ballad played acoustically on a 1, 2, 3 guitars or any other stringed instrument. So I'm going to go from Clean Getaway.
Nice.
To a band called Rado. John, Rado is Dylan Tuthill on guitar and vocals, James Hatch on keys and vocals, Kevin McKinnon on bass and vocals, and Benny Cummings on drums.
Great. Nice 4-piece. What song are they playing? You have to guess.
This is from their show at Oscar Blues in Colorado Springs on March 30th, 2024.
Oh, a live cut. I like it. Very Touchdowns All Day to have a live cut.
Yes. Buzz in when you know what it is.
I have no idea right now. The Who's in Charge? No.
That is a good guess, but it is not correct.
I'm still drawing a blank. I still don't know.
Well, they definitely are taking a page from your playbook and jamming the hell out of the intro on this one.
Did they come in and sing at any point?
They do.
Okay, cool. I mean, that sounds like a Zappa melody on guitar to me.
Okay, getting any clues from that bass line?
Not sure yet. I thought I had it for a second there. Is it Taurus?
It is Tourists.
Ah, there we go.
They even got their vocoder.
Love it.
Very Kraftwerky vocoder.
Love the snare. Love it.
Just on the street, wishing I could show some affection. I don't wanna be another casualty in collection. Don't disturb the aliens, silently there comes again and again. I don't wanna be stuck inside a world that's frozen.
I like this vocal arrangement.
Yeah, it's good. Stuck inside a simulation. Tell me that I'm real, headed in my own illusion. Take it to extremes. I don't want your psycho pollution. I don't wanna be another casualty of delusion. Don't disturb the air. Stuck inside a world that's frozen. You got a little extra sauce on there.
Stuck inside a world that's frozen. Do you
step on the rocket ship.
I like these guys. They've got a great sense of humor and they also have chops.
I like it. They add like a little, kind of like it's like a fun little melody that they throw into the vocals. Gives it like a party vibe. Nice. Go Rado. That was fun.
Well, John, that goes on for another 10 plus minutes. They played a 21-minute long version of Tourists. So everyone, if you liked what you heard, check out Rado. You can find them on Bandcamp at rado303.bandcamp.com. They've got lots of live shows up there that you can check out.
I mean, I tell them, you know, they got to keep it shorter, except for I'm pretty sure we've played 21-minute rocket ships quite a few times. So might keep my mouth shut on that one. But 21's the right length for that song.
Yes. They've got it dialed in. Well, let's go with something a little bit more brief, a little bit more to the point. This is Amy Bowden, Humu.
I love this version. This is the one thing I've heard. She kills it. I mean, this is her. She makes a new spectacular version. Love that. That's pure inspiration.
And this is our second Humu cover that we featured on the show after the Ross Street School Choir with their full 5th grade rendition of the song.
Yeah, that was awesome. I loved that. That was fun.
Two birds are flying over the ocean down below. Another world beneath them, one's world she'd like to show. While staying blue, we noticed another birds were diving fast. He made a loud and flapped his wings, and other birds had passed. He wondered why they're diving in an ordinary bay, but he knew this was not diving in an ordinary way. Well, he took a breath and dipped his nose and headed for the sea. But what he did not know is that this time we set him free. This time we set him free.
I love the way she does that.
Yeah, it's great.
You can see that I believe that I was set us free. Walk right in front of me. You can see that I believe that I was set us free. Walk in front of me. I was set us free. Walk right in front of me. You can see that I believe that I was set us free. I will set us free.
Awesome.
I'm telling you, we got to get a side stage at Bisco Land for all this.
I mean, I remember when Mark wrote this song, he was like very in love. This is a very real song about his experience. He just poured it out.
I love that song. And I love you all so much. I love you, Biscuits. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Crunk Mike, and everybody who does Touchdowns all day. Thank you to all the amazing fans. You guys make my life. Thank you.
Aw,
Love you. Be for real.
thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Great job. That was awesome.
So beautiful. And for Mark, it must be really, and Deb, it must be really touching for them to hear this song that's a very personal expression of their love, and to hear how much it's impacted all of these other people, from Mark Filorama, the choir teacher who taught it to all his fifth graders, to Amy, who's just completely reinterpreted it with all these beautiful flourishes and made it such, just taken this big, expansive song that creates these huge Biscuits jams and put it into this little jewel box of a very delicate, beautiful acoustic version.
Yeah, it's funny because she plays a guitar line that's similar to what I played originally on this song. And Sammy and I came up with the new guitar line that I play, which is really a drum part. And Sammy and I were just like kind of working on how to make my guitar rhythm sit in the drum beat that he was playing really well. And I stopped playing that kind of chordy, flourishy, hammer-on thing. And then listening to her play it, she has a really authentic take on it, which is just, I just love it. It just makes me feel like the song is, you know, like the Hawaiian tale, the Hawaiian ukulele song that it was always supposed to be.
Definitely. It's a perfect arrangement. Well, gonna stick with another Brownstein composition. And this is a band by the name of Muskrat Flats. They are
I've heard of
Patty
these guys.
McCann on
Okay.
guitar and vocals, JP Florio, lead guitar and vocals, Eric Cooper on bass, Matt McCann on lead guitar, and Jeremy Worthington on drums. This is their version of Confrontation from Punjab Live on December 30th, 2023.
Sweet. New Year's.
I didn't mean no harm, I know it's no alarm, but now we made a choice.
Right out the bat, I like hearing this with two guitars.
Your inner voice. But now you tune it out and then begin to shout until your face turns red. And Amos pleads his case and no one wants his face, and what was once his
like the little hiccup they put in the beat. A real shoulder bopper.
Well, at a time when confrontation is being reimagined and getting a new techno arrangement, it's interesting to hear Muskrat Flats take it in a completely different direction, bring the acoustic guitar in, give it a little bit of a country rock twang.
Yeah, I mean, we're totally in this new techno arpeggiated version of this song, which has been killing. So we're gonna keep doing it, and I guess these guys can do this version. So this is their thing now.
And if you ever know that life is what it seems, and now you wish that it was yesterday, if that's the price you have to pay.
It's kind of a genius thing, though, too, because confrontation really could be a country song.
I mean, any song can be a country song for sure. You know,
It's got that kind of, the showdown, the shootout vibe, like, like
Totally.
a Waylon Jennings song, like, who's going to draw first? It's a
I like
cool
it. They
little
bring in
jam.
some E-drums here. They're like, we can do the techno version of this song.
They could do it all. If I understand correctly, John, this was performed in an Indian restaurant in Media, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. I need a good Indian restaurant in Pennsylvania. We're lacking right now. All the Indian restaurants around here, they won't send you chutneys and they won't send you raita when you order delivery. And so it's hard for me to enjoy the meal without those special Indian condiments. And so it's been tough to order. It's been we've gone like 0 for 6 around here, unfortunately.
Did you used to get Honor Baj when you were back in California?
I don't know that place, no.
Ventura Boulevard up in Woodland Hills. That's the spot.
Oh, really? Huh, have you lived right there? I'm surprised I never went there. I probably
that's my
did.
spot.
Really? I mean, I love when I get home from tour, it was almost a tradition to get like a big Indian feast the day that we get home from tour.
Well, imagine you go in to get your chana masala, your dosa, your samosas, your lamb biryani, and Muskrat Flats is jamming out to confrontation in the Indian restaurant. It's a
That'd be
very
great.
old school biscuits kind of thing to do. Your pancakes.
I mean, when I get Indian, I get vegetarian. I get sag paneer. I get dal makhani, I get aloo gobi, I get navratan korma, veggie samosas. That's what I get. It's a little bit more of like a Tibetan type of approach where you eat vegetarian when you eat Indian. Chicken tikka masala is pretty fire, but I prefer being entirely vegetarian when I eat.
Interesting. I like the chicken balti.
Never had that.
Oh, next time you're here, we're going to Anarbaj.
Oh, love it. Maybe a little shrimp biryani is sometimes fun.
Oof.
Are they going into money for nothing?
I think they are teasing some dire straits.
I mean, they definitely are. Yeah, that's for sure. Great song. Great song. I haven't heard Biscuits in like kind of a techno setting like this without keyboards. It's very unique.
They're making it work.
I like that chord. That was cool.
I stand corrected, John. They have 3 guitar players.
Do they?
Yeah, they've got the twin leads and they've got a rhythm guitar player.
I mean, look, the Eagles had 3 guitar players. Like, it's been done. It's been done successfully.
I'm feeling Muskrat Flats.
Yeah, this is nice. And they're PA guys, huh?
Yeah.
I've probably seen their name around.
And I guess part of the story is how Patty McCann, who submitted this track, got the band to play it was because it was his birthday and he was really bummed out that he wasn't at the Electric Factory because he had a gig. So he convinced his fellow band members to let him pick a song, and he picked Confrontation.
It's funny. That's funny. That's the best way to get the band to play something is as that like emotional song for you. You know, I need to play this. It sounds like they've practiced it quite a bit, so they were ready to play it.
Oh yeah, these guys are tight.
Nice.
Well, guys, I'll say that you can also check out Muskrat Flats on Bandcamp. They're at muskratflatsband.bandcamp.com, and they too have lots of their live shows up there. You can find links to their tour dates. Check them out if you're ever hungry for Indian food or want to hear some great local jams.
Got to support your local bands. There's no question.
especially if they're going to rage a confrontation like that. Well, let's go from Muskrat Flats to another one of our one-man operations. This is Matt Schultz, and Matt Schultz has put together a little medley, John.
Okay, cool. Nice.
I think the community wants to know if he can play Papercut. What is your excuse? Set list idea.
We haven't done this one in a while either.
Yeah.
I don't know why. This one's easy. They're both pretty easy, but I don't know where they've been.
Don't say Papercut is easy. Mark's whole reason for why he can't play Papercut is because it's hard.
Well, there's the whole fugue part in the middle.
The fugue, yes.
And we lost the sheet music to it.
Well, you just segue into Champions.
That's right. That's an option. That's a legitimate option. And I think people, they don't really care about that part as much as they care about the melodies at the beginning, which are so sweet. Mark really killed those melodies.
He definitely did.
I love Dr. Pepper.
Keep talking about it and some will show up at your door.
I know, right? I don't know. I don't want a case of Dr. Pepper though, really, you know? I don't want to. I mean, look, a 12-pack seems to show up regularly. I don't know where it comes from, but people bring it over here. People like to have the studio has its own fridge, and people bring stuff and put it in the fridge, and Dr. Pepper always shows up. I didn't buy
Who's
that
bringing Dr. Pepper?
I don't know. I never ask, but I do enjoy one from time to time. It's nice to have one at the end of a session when you're just like, you know, you want a little treat for doing a good job. And a Dr. Pepper is a pretty treat. It's a treat soda.
Well, it's important to treat yourself. John, I'm going to treat you to one more from Matt Schultz. I mentioned before that Svenghali is a favorite of the Biscuits community to cover. And here is Matt's piano rendition.
Ooh, nice.
leaping off point to go into all sorts of different directions.
I thought he was going on IMan there.
I thought he was going to do the middle part of IMan.
That would have been fire. Oh, there he is again.
Yeah.
Let's see if he pops into it.
Oh, yes.
There he is.
That's for when you're, you're at the lounge at the hotel, you put $1 in the tip jar and the guy plays a Svenghali into IMan for you. I mean, the vibes are immaculate.
Dig it. Yeah. I mean, it's the chord progression's the same for both songs. The one's in A, the other's in G, but it's the same progression basically. So it's an easy connection and makes a lot of sense. I don't know if the band's ever done it because for the band, the tempos are dramatically different. Makes a whole thing. But on piano, that kind of stuff doesn't matter. Solo piano, you can kind of work your way around all those issues by playing 3/4 and just doing some other things. And he seems to have a good mastery of that stuff. So kudos to him. That was great.
Great job, Matt. Well, I mean, John, I know that when you guys started out, a good portion of every set would have been covers. You were doing Fish, you were doing Dead, you were doing Zappa, you were doing blues, you were doing jazz. How's it hearing people doing Biscuits?
I love it. I love listening to people do Biscuits. It's just, they always put their own take on it. Like those guys have like a calypso way of singing, Confrontation. I mean, Amy added sections to Humu so she could riff with her voice, and just seems like everybody's the musical space is full with such creative people that, I like to hear like the different takes on everything. I've never really, I mean, people don't play things like the Biscuits do exactly, but the Biscuits are a very unique band. Like we can't play anything normally. So it's hard to be on that edge of weirdness that the Biscuits are consistently on and can't get off of, frankly. So it's cool to hear people like bring their little twist into it. I mean, he was doing a different set of changes at the beginning of Svenghali, which we use in the jam and we use it under the big vocals at the end, but we don't use it at the beginning like that. And I thought that was very cool.
I just like the fact that you're inspiring people, not only to try to recreate a favorite jam like Dr. Shred's or to jam out tourists, but also to reinterpret your material. And it speaks to the Biscuits song catalog as being this living, breathing thing, not unlike the bands that influenced you guys. People are still covering Scarlet Begonias, or people are covering Fish and Tweezer, or Zappa, Peaches and Regalia. For decades after these bands have stopped playing, people will continue to play their music. And here's to hoping that some of these artists will continue to do that with the Biscuits. John, you got time for one more?
Of course. Absolutely.
Okay. Are you aware of a band by the name of Tractor Bear?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, John, I was not familiar with Tractor Band until they reached out to me. They are James Delasanti on guitar, Polly Katz on bass, Steve Lasker on keys, and Jason Cohen on drums. They play a lot of Biscuits material.
Oh, yeah.
I have for you a really cool jam from their performance on July 16th, 2022 at the Sculpture Garden. And this is the jam from Space Train into Anthem.
Oh, wow. We haven't done Anthem in a minute either. It's like the Dino Baby version. that's my Who's in Charge guitar line.
So something that's cool about this, John, is this is from July 16th, 2022. You debuted Space Train on June 11th, 2022. So less than a month after you first premiered that song, Tractor Bear was jamming it out in their sets. And according to Jason Cohen, who submitted this, the drummer, he was trying to reinterpret it in the vein of 2019 Tractor Beam. So he said he was trying to do 2019 Tractor Beam drumming while playing one of the new space opera songs.
That's legit. That makes sense. I get where he's going for there. The sick bass line he's got going there. Little Spacebird tease.
This is nasty. Is this making you miss Anthem?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's making me miss Anthem.
Yeah, and they hit the accent and everything. Wow, great version.
Tractor Bear really bringing
Those guys
it. We got to get more Tractor Bear shows.
Yeah, those guys can play, man. That's great.
I'm telling you, when you guys don't want to go on the road, you just send out Tractor Bear, you send out Dr. Shreds, you send out, it's like the Further Festival was for the dead, but you just send out all the Biscuits fans who play music, put them on stage. I think half the time people are so spun out, they wouldn't notice the difference anyways.
Probably not.
There's nothing that compares to a Biscuit show, unless it is, of course, a Tractor Bear show or a Muskrat Flats show or a Rado show or a Clean Getaway show.
That's right. Yeah, it's great.
Well,
I mean, these guys can all play. Love it. Love listening to it. This is a cool show idea. The all Biscuit covers episode.
and we want you to send in more. We will keep playing them. We will keep sharing them with the community. We love to hear your spin on the Biscuits classic material, on the new songs. Guys, hit us up on the socials. You can get to us on X, on Instagram, Barber Shreds, FY Maxwell, TDAD Baby, Touchdowns All Day. Send us your covers and let us hear how you are reinterpreting the Biscuits material.
Keep them coming, folks. We love it.
We're mass communicating. Mass communicating. Mass communicating.
Touchdowns All Day is an Osiris Media production. Check us out on the web at www.touchdownsallday.com and use the hashtag Touchdowns All Day on all social platforms. Once again, John is at Barber Shreds. I'm at FY Maxwell on Instagram and X, and we are at TDAD Baby on X and Touchdowns All Day on Instagram. Call the Touchdowns All Day hotline 424-666-SIYD. This episode was written, produced, and edited by me, Max Dawson, with the assistance of Matt Dwyer at Osiris Media. Our photographer is Tara Gracer. I'd like to offer special thanks to Mark, John, Aaron, Allen, and the entire Disco Biscuits organization, Ben Baruch and Andrew Kaplan at 1111 Management, the Touchdowns All Day Advisory Committee, that's Andy Bazzani, Mike Walsh, Russ Tabes, Scott McClintock, Dave Cook, Ian Armstrong, and Rich Steele. Special thanks to Joey Friedman, Steve Martocci, and as always, a heartfelt thank you to Lisa Gutwillig, Deb Brownstein, Angelica Magner, Sandra O'Quinn, Andrea Rivers, and Avery McMahon. On behalf of John Barber and the entire Touchdowns All Day family, this is Max Dawson saying see you next time.
Osiris.